Okay. So it's really a big thank you. So Moses, we already thanked you in advance. Let me not take more of any more time. Just over to you. Introduce yourself the way you want to, and take us through the session. Friends, let's keep the questions coming through the chat. So that so Moses may take about 15 minutes to give us a presentation. Then we can have a few minutes just to ask the questions that you may be having. Yes. So thank you and welcome. Over to you, Moses. Are you muted? We can't hear you yet. Okay. As we wait for him to just speak so we get to know that you are on. And as I was starting, I was doing a short poll to understand who is joining for the first time. If you're joining for the first time, type 1. If you have been here several times, just type 2. So we get to know the...
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. And take it off from there. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Joanne. And good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is Epret Moses Obuya. Campus Chief. And I'm here to learn today as well as educate others. And I'm a software developer by trade and computer scientist by training. I hold a master's degree in computer science, where I majored in artificial intelligence and data science from Makerere University. And today I'm excited to be here. And it's my hope that I'll explain the essentials in basic terms, not the technical terms that I'm used to. And I hope we'll all learn from each other. So allow me to share my screen and we dive into what we have to share today. I hope we are all able to see my screen.
Yes, we are. I am. I don't know. Type 1 if you can. Or type 3 so we don't confuse ourselves. Type 3 if you can see the screen. Okay, 3s are getting in there, so it means everyone can see. Over to you.
Right, thank you. So let's start with the basic question. Who of us has used AI since this day began today? Great. I see Harriet says she has used. So
Francis has, Harriet has, Sylvia has. For me, I haven't. Crispus has.
I am not sure if you haven't or you have, but there are different tasks that if some of us have done today with our devices, we'll definitely conclude we've all used AI. So for example, if you've sent an email and there's a bit of grammatical highlighting, that is still AI at work. If you played music on your way to work, say on Spotify, and you just played one song, then the rest of the songs fell in line with the first song you played, that has all been AI at work, and many other things. So in our short discussion, we are going to look at what AI is, why AI matters today, and some of the examples of AI usage in our everyday lives, some of the myths, and how to safely use it, and we will call it a day. So the first question is, what is AI? So if I was explaining what AI is to someone who's about 5 years, I would say it's about teaching computers to make decisions and perform tasks like human beings. So usually to do that, we give different computers, or what we call AI models, data from which it can learn, make discoveries, discover patterns, and then use that to make decisions and act like humans. So this AI thing is built on what we call machine learning. So it's something that we can call the secret sauce to AI. So when it comes to machine learning, we have different algorithms that enable our computers to learn from the data we give it. And data, when it comes to the AI ecosystem, is like the fuel. I think a few years back, we're hearing things like, in this data age, data is like oil. Like the way oil was something of importance in the industrial age. But in this fourth industrial revolution, data is the fuel that drives it. So the difference between good AI and bad AI is predominantly dependent on the data you feed to it, and which implies that if you feed the algorithms with garbage, the result you get is also garbage. So on the back of our minds, okay. So on the back of our minds, we have to take data seriously. Is that loud enough now? All right. So why does AI matter today? So if you look at ourselves, and every other day, we are bombarded with tasks at work, at home, on transit. So sometimes we need a way to save ourselves some time to do other things. So AI saves us time. For example, if you have an essay and you need to summarize it to get out the key points, you can just feed that into an AI agent and picks for you the key points. That's saving you time. And then it also reduces costs. For example, back in the day, you would use speech writers or editors to do some of the tasks, or customer service agents. But today we have AI bots that one can deploy on their apps or their organization's websites, and they give responses to their customers. And that saves labor costs. And then it improves also on decision making. For example, if you are a data-driven organization, AI works well with data. So you can just feed it with your business data, and then it generates insights that will guide on what decisions, what business decisions the organization makes. There are tasks that are repetitive in nature, depending on the industry you work in. For example, for us who are in the IT environment, sometimes when you're releasing a software, there are certain tests you carry out, and some of those can be boring in the long run. But with AI, you can automate the tests before releases, and that also helps us allocate that other time we used to spend on working on those repetitive tasks to other things. And then improve products and services for people who are in business or who want to make, for example, purchases. There are times you go to an e-commerce website and then you check out a product and then you find recommendations of products that are related to what you checked out. And sometimes when you check out those related products they've recommended, you may find that they are much better than the product you're actually going to look for. That helps you get improved products and services. And for business people, it helps, for example, if you market your product on an e-commerce platform, when a customer comes to visit it and select your product, it can recommend to them products that get along or that complement that you could be selling, and that improves your sales and your services. And then also economic growth. Yeah, we've seen places whereby testimonies all over the world people say we've used AI to do this and my revenue has gone up, or we've automated certain tasks in our organizations and we've reduced operation costs, thus maximizing our revenue. So those, among many other things, is why AI matters today. So everyday examples of us using AI, the quickest is some of us unlock our phones with our faces. That is AI in action. And then the digital assistants, especially in businesses where instead of having a fully fledged customer care department where everything is done by humans, most of the basic issues are handled by digital assistants. And then it's only escalated ones that will require human interaction. And then some of you on your devices, you have things like the ones who use iPhone have Siri. You can just speak to it and it does something for you on your phone. The ones who use Microsoft, I think, have Cortana, among others. And then social media feeds. Some people are TikTok users, and you've seen how people are glued on TikTok. After watching one video, something else that is interesting in relation to what they have just watched is recommended to them or shown to them, and you find them on the app for quite a while, and that is primarily due to AI. And then we use it every day in our texts and emails for grammar, for spelling. We have things like Grammarly that do that. And then in search engines, when you are looking for things, say on Google, when you put in the first word, it usually shows you other options through auto-completion. And then we can now read documents in different languages without someone who speaks that language using language translators. And then people who use streaming services like Netflix and Spotify, our movies and music is recommended to us based on our taste, and that is AI. Navigation applications like Google Maps use AI, and then in finance, and banking, it's used for fraud detection, and I think even Airtel a few months back rolled out smart SMS services, whereby they can detect if someone sending you messages is a fraudster or not, and they're flagged. And most of us today walk around with fitness bands on our wrists that feed data to apps in our phones and give us insights about different aspects of our lives, like stress levels, blood oxygen, and so forth. And that is all AI in action. So what are some of the myths and realities of AI? The biggest around is AI will replace human beings. And that is a big lie. AI is here to coexist with us, help us become more efficient and more productive, help us be more creative, and also help us save time that we can dedicate to other things in our lives. And then the other is, people say AI is perfect and infallible, but AI is trained on data. And sometimes the data may be biased or imbalanced, that whatever outputs of that AI model will definitely be imperfect. And thus, it does make mistakes. And then another common myth is only experts can use AI. That's also a lie. Today we see people in different vocations, different domains, who are not AI experts or developers, computer software developers or engineers using AI. So it's a myth we need to debunk and tell the world that this is something that is accessible to everyone. And then the next is, another thing we have to look at is responsible use. So the first thing is, we shouldn't blindly trust AI. It's humans who built it. It's humans who give it the data. So we always need to fact check things that AI gives us, because sometimes you may ask it a question and then it will give you an answer based on data that is not relevant to your context. So that is something we need to take seriously. And then this is for everyone, not only bosses, maintaining human oversight over the activity we do with it. Sometimes we can end up doing things that are not ethical or honest enough. I'm trying to not have technical words to describe that. So we need to keep a human touch while working with it. Same with transparency. So sometimes at some point, some of us are students, and back in the day, we would either just Google or read, but these days, just present a problem to search ChatGPT or Gemini, and it generates for everything. So sometimes it's not our work, it's AI's work. So a bit of transparency is needed. If it is not you who did it, there's nothing wrong with saying it's not me who did it. I guess. And then protect privacy and data. We have to be extra careful with the kind of data we expose to these AI models. Like personal information, it's not right, because whatever data we feed the AI models with is used for training, and you don't need your personal information, personal and more especially identifying information anywhere out there. And then sometimes like the data is not balanced, sometimes it's biased, so be aware that sometimes AI can be biased. For example, in the beginning, when there were trainings like these toilet hand dryers, there were issues with them not drying Black people's hands. That means that was primarily because the sensors in there were trained on non-Black hands. So when a Black hand was put under so that it could be dried, it would not detect it. So things like that. And then let's strive to use AI for good. We've seen where people have developed there's what we call deep fakes, using people's images and develop weird AI generated graphics of them. And that is not responsible use of AI. And then lastly, but not least, we need to stay informed. It's an industry that is changing every other day. So we have to keep being informed with the latest changes so that we can all benefit from it. So my closing remarks are, in this whole AI thing, being educated and being transparent about what we do with it is key. So overcoming the misconceptions, making the best use of it, all lies in how well we educate ourselves about it. So that is on companies, individuals to actively share knowledge with each other about what they know, and also keep learning about how this AI works and how it can positively be used to change everything around us. This will enable us to trust the technology while also maximizing the benefits we can get from it. And on the back of our minds, let's recognize AI as a tool. For those who haven't started, we can start small, but above all, let's stay curious, because there's so much more to discover in this AI ecosystem. And slowly but surely integrate it into our day-to-day lives. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Wow. There's an exercise of saying, how do you know that 30 minutes have ended? I have never seen somebody who knows that 30 minutes and ends, if not assisted by AI. Thank you so much, Moses, for the wonderful presentation about AI. Members, it's time for asking questions. But yeah, I think the first question is, yes, you say, let us embrace it. Let's be transparent about it. But where do we start from your perspective? Where should somebody start from? Somebody who is like, okay, it has come to stay. It's supposed to help me improve my productivity, save my time, make me more creative. But where do I start from? Because it's just so overwhelming. Yeah, if you could start from there, and then we can see other questions that come through the chat.
Thank you, Joanne. The first thing I would advise is know exactly what you want to achieve with the AI. Like, what's your goal? After getting to know your goal, and then you can now look for resources that will help you achieve your goals. So online, we have a lot of resources. We have blogs, but then since most of us are lazy readers and don't really love investing a lot of time in digging deeper, you could go, the easiest is just going to Google and then ask the different LLMs, large language models, like ChatGPT, Gemini, Raw, DeepSeek, among others, and just ask it your question. With that, it can always give you steps on how you can learn whatever you want to learn or achieve whatever goals you want to achieve. And with that, you can build on that because those language models always give you other ideas that you can build on to improve whatever question you asked it.
Okay. Thank you so much. Let me see if there's another question coming through. Yes, can you, yeah, I'm saying here, there's one here. Hi, Moses. Please elaborate more on the personal information to be careful about when dealing with AI, e.g. when subscribing, they will ask you date of birth, names, and you need to feed in your payment details. What should we worry? What should we be wary of on these platforms? Thank you. Christine.
Christine, for starters, in the event maybe you're paying for something, your biodata is required. I don't know how many of us usually spend time to read the terms and conditions of some of these sites where we input in our details. But having developed systems whereby we also require people's personal data, there is data that is not shared with, say, models or third parties. Anything identifying things like your name, things like your credit card number, things like your email, things like date of birth, place of origin, street address, and things like that. There's information that we don't share. But then when you say Christine is working with say, let's use an example, you're putting a prompt on ChatGPT. And then as part of your prompt, you end up putting personal identifying information. That is not ethical. That is not you being cognizant of your privacy. Because whatever you give to those language models is going to be used for training, further training purposes. So that means at the end of the day, some identifying information of yours will be among the outputs to some future questions. So when creating the prompts or asking, just ensure that you don't put in any identifying information of yours. As for the other information that you've entered, some of that is beyond your control because one, things like under which jurisdiction is the company that is holding your information. And so what are they allowed to do with that? So some of them is beyond the jurisdiction of the Republic of Uganda. So we have no control over that. But of course, in most of their terms and conditions, their policies, they will tell us we don't use personal information to train models. But we've seen places like the European Union, the US punishing the big tech companies because of some of those issues. That's all I can say. But what is in your control is what kind of information you use when prompting.
Okay, thank you so much. There's another question saying, is AI a threat to humanity?
Yes and no, depending on who is using it and how they're using it. For example, if you're going to use AI in the health sector to quickly come up with vaccines and cures to diseases, it's not a threat to humanity. But if you're going to use the same AI to come up with terrible viruses, then it's a threat to humanity. So it depends on how it is being used. So it goes back to ethics and good use of it. How it's used determines whether it is a threat or not.
Okay. Thank you so much. Is there somebody who would like to unmute and just ask your question directly? Feel free to type, but you can also unmute and ask your question. And yes, and then we will be able to do that. Okay. As we wait for somebody to unmute. Regency, want to share something? Yes, feel free to unmute and ask your question as I just also let you know what is coming up in Majesty Training Associate, so you keep updated on what is coming up and you don't miss a single thing. Okay, let me see what's coming up, Fulgencia. Fulgencia is just sharing what's coming up. Let me just do that and then we can have Ali. Ali had put the phone on. You just want to do slideshow. Is that slideshow? Okay, yes, so we are super excited to tell you about the Teens and Teens program coming up on the 6th of December. We are having a physical teen and twins. So teens are age group 9 to 12 and then 13 to 19 are the teens. So we are having a mentorship program. We have run this for the last 5 years or so. So please, if you have children in that category, ours is about empowering them to be more confident, more decisive, and more focused. Yes, yeah, so that program is coming up on there. We have the Beyond Success transformational tables. We have just finished one with senior 4 vaccies. So the ones of senior 6 will start on the 6th of January. So please tell the vaccies to come again. We are about building the young generation with key leadership skills and values that will last, that will last beyond AI, that they actually need so that they can use AI very well. And then, yeah, we have very exciting news. We have a mastermind program beginning in January as well. We will be discussing 15 invaluable laws of growth. Like we said, the company is about personal development, personal growth, and want to grow. And so that's very exciting. So please sign up for those. Coming up, we shall use the John C. Maxwell 15 invaluable laws of growth to facilitate that mastermind program. And finally, on the business, also people in business and want to become business trainers, you're not left out. They start and improve your business program, TOT, online, coming up in March. So we are all covered from personal development for children, for ourselves, and for those also in business. Yes, so if I may just stop there, because I have at least done what the company pays me to do, to tell you what is coming up. And yes, and over to you, Ali, for the question that you wanted to ask.
Thank you, John. My name is Ali, and I normally use some of the tools the presenter has told us. I use ChatGPT, I use DeepSeek, I use Canva, I use Copilot for different things. My question, I'm the one who asked if these tools are a threat to humanity. As the kind of world we're in now is very belligerent. We have wars going on between Iran and Israel, between Russia and the cousins in Ukraine. And they are all using AI, sending those drones and whatever. When I asked the question about are we under threat, since these machines are being trained every day, as the presenter said, they have learned the hostile part of us. Supposing they take over and they decide just to destroy the humanity, is there a possibility of that? That was my question. I know it's out of the range, but out of curiosity, I would like to know.
Thank you, Ali.
Thank
Over
you.
to you, Moses. You people are the ones designing these things, so tell us.
All right. Thanks, Ali. I hope people can still hear me.
Yes, but a bit low. Maybe you increase your volume a bit.
Now, can you hear me? Is it louder?
Yes.
All right. All right. Thanks, Ali. When you introduce things like weaponry, it gets scary. And yes, it's a threat. But one good thing is these models or whatever product of AI is only as good as the data it's been trained on. Whatever it's not been trained on, it won't do. So it will go back to things like policy and oversight. So some of these things, it will be about legislations to save us from them, because each person there, they are talking of artificial general intelligence, AGI, which is close to the real human intelligence, whereby these, for example, drones or fighter robots think for themselves at a high level as humans do. So when it reaches that level, in my opinion, it will be dangerous. But one thing that we all hope for is legislation. But as it stands now, most of the big tech companies seem to have politicians in their pocket. So legislation is not really doing much to save us from that. Hopefully ethics will prevail. That is
Thank
precisely
you.
how I can put it.
Thank you, Moses. And that's why we are very keen about mentoring the young generation, because I think it's really going to boil down to things to do with ethics and values at the end of the day. Yesterday, my husband was telling me that he had the CEO of NBS complaining about how their media houses are actually struggling, because everybody now is a media house. As long as you have your phone, you can record, you can report, so now, what does the media house do? So he was actually speaking to, we need more regulations. Otherwise, what should we do? I think they're like, to going away. Yeah, so at
They
the
should
end of the
adapt.
day, I guess things to do with values and ethics need to prevail. Otherwise,
Yes.
I mean, you can regulate in Uganda and somebody goes in another country where there's no regulations and still does the same stuff. So it's quite disturbing. Anyone else who would like to ask a question, a comment? I know this has been a very juicy topic for everyone, because also me, I feel so overwhelmed when I ask ChatGPT, I ask it a question, even what I've not thought about, it brings, and then I find myself spending so much time like doing other things which I did not ask, because it's telling me, now should I do this? Now should I do this? And I'm like, oh, you mean also there's that one? There's this one. So I think also what we do, we say setting boundaries, I guess setting boundaries for yourselves, even when you go to seek help from these AI tools is paramount. Otherwise, the whole day it can take you around. Thank you. Yes, Francis.
Yes, I want to just make a small comment. A few years ago, maybe in the 90s, for those who were there, we used to hear about the computer age. And I remember everybody saying, but what are these computers going to do? Like, we're all scared about computers. And I remember seeing a computer for the first time, and I was like, this computer must be even knowing what I'm thinking. So I think AI is also another edge that is coming, and we just need to embrace it. There are people who took long to embrace computers because they're like, but how can I start using a computer? Our teachers used to beat us for using calculators. They're like, you're going to be dense. But currently, you can't, I mean, you cannot calculate if you're doing real math, you cannot use your head. So I think AI, as we evolve, the human being is also going to become, because as you say, it is data driven. So it is our brains that are feeding these uh, uh, computers to do whatever they want. So one of the things I think that we need to do is to try and be as more creative as possible, so that the AI does not take over us. We are the ones to feed it with the data, so we are the ones who have the information. So basically, it's us to feed AI so that AI can work for us. That's my take.
Thank you so much, Francis. In a short while, Moses, I will ask you for your concluding remarks or parting shots, but I just want to thank people who have contributed to this Lunch and Learn personal development series on a monthly basis. Like I said, every last Thursday of the month, we have a topic, and today we're talking about AI essentials. Next month, we will be talking about setting goals, and which is we are so excited about that because a friend all over from Rwanda will be taking us through that. So I will just like to run that slide again. So we appreciate those people who have been taking us through the topics. And by the way, all is not lost. Those who did not participate in all the topics, you can catch them on our YouTube channel. So when you go to our YouTube, you'll find every topic from last year, this year, they are all there. So you can watch and then see what you can gain from there. So Lujensa, if you can play that, and then we can have Moses give his parting shots, and yes, and we call it a afternoon. We hope you really are having your lunch, because it's lunch and learn. Depending on which culture you're from, but we are hoping that you're having some lunch, so you're back to office. Can you do slideshow? Thank you. Thank you. Over to you, Moses, for your closing shots.
Thank you, Joan. When it's all said and done, this AI thing is here to stay. So it's on us to embrace it. Let's adapt, learn, stay up to date, regardless of your domain. It can help all of us get an edge in whatever we do. So be open to learning, be curious. Don't wait to be ready. Just jump in there. You'll be ready when you get in there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Moses, and goodbye, everyone. See you in, and December. It's not going to be the last Thursday, because the last Thursday is Christmas, so it will be the Thursday before. That is 19. You can say that 19. 18th? 18th, so it will be 18th of December. That's when we shall have our setting goals. Yeah, so thank you so much. Thank you so much, Moses, and everyone who gives us a talk here, because it's really pro bono. It's about sharing. And if you're out there, you know, something interesting or something good that people can learn, do give us a call, give us a WhatsApp. And yes, we shall schedule you next year so you can give us a talk on the Lunch and Learn. Thank you so much. And thank you, team, for putting this together. Thank you, Fulgencia, working at behind the scenes. Thank you, AI. Maybe she must have used the Canva, I think, to do this. So there's a lot of AI that has gone into facilitating all this. So let's acknowledge AI, just like Moses said. It's really helping us do our work faster, be more creative, yes, and increase our productivity. Thank you. Have a good weekend.